Welcome everyone to another episode of the Shade and Shit Talking Podcast. I'm your host TK, and as always, I thank you guys for tuning in. Now, this episode is it's somewhat of a continuation of one that I done a while back when I talked about Antwon Rose II. Now, if many of you may remember, this episode was me talking about his untimely murder, not accident or anything like that, but his murder at the hands of a policeman in Pittsburgh. So this past week, that officer's trial for the murder of Antwon Rose II happened. And unsurprisingly to myself, to people who know me, people period, this officer was acquitted. He was found not guilty. Now, let me just give you a quick backstory of this case, y'all. So, what happened was, Antwon Rose, who was a 17-year-old high school student, a 17-year-old AP high school student, he was in the front seat of an unlicensed taxi cab when the person in the back seat rolled down the window and shot two men on the streets of North Braddock in Pittsburgh. Now, this vehicle that they were in was stopped, routine traffic stop, because the vehicle matched the description of the one that was involved in the shooting. Antwon Rose II was unarmed. There were two guns found inside of the vehicle. So, and there was video shot by witness from an apartment, I guess, a couple stories up, second floor, whatever. But in this video, you can clearly see Antwon Rose running away. And he was shot in the back. Officer Michael Rosfeld shot 3 shots. 3. Now this guy, he had been with the East Pittsburgh Police Department for only a few weeks after he had worked for other departments over a span of 7 years. And like I talked about, in the original podcast, he has had his share of problems and troubles and bullshit that he has done at other departments. But obviously it doesn't matter, when it comes to them. So, anyways, you see Antwon and another guy running, and he shoots him in the back. And he leaves him there, pretty much to die. Now let me make it explicitly clear that Antwon was not a threat at all. He didn't have a gun. He didn't have a knife. He didn't point anything, a pipe, a phone, or anything at this officer. He ran. He ran because he was a 17-year-old kid who was scared. And I mean, let's be real here. We all know and have this expectation of what will happen with the police. And that kid was no different. He has seen what has happened to black men and black women, at the hands of the police. So And I don't want to hear anybody, telling me, well, don't tell me shit about compliance, and don't tell me what he shouldn't have done, because we have seen firsthand, on video what happens when you comply. The same happens when you don't comply, and the outcome is always the damn same. You may get an outlier like you did with the cop who shot the man 8 times in the back, I believe in North Carolina. But that that was blatant too. They couldn't do anything with that shit. But this was not a killing that was justified. This was a murder. A flat out murder. And of course, as always, with Terrence Crutcher and Philando Castile and Sandra Bland and so many others, the cop feared for his life. As always. But there's so much about this case that really irked the shit out of me. Some of the things that happened, in the course of the incident the murder, in the course of this murder, from the time that Antwon got out the car and started running to when he was shot in the aftermath, was the erratic and bullshit behavior of the officer. So one witness, came forward and testified that Rosfeld said after, he shot him, and I quote, "Why did I shoot? Why did I fire?" And then, I think you fired because you were a racist piece of shit, quite honestly. But if you have to ask yourself that question, if you're asking yourself as a policeman that question, why did I have to do that, you shouldn't have done it in the first place. And that's, that was one of the things that he said. Another thing that he said that really bothered me was the fact that in a police affidavit, Officer Rosfeld gave conflicting statements to the investigators. One of those statements said that he saw something in Antwon Rose Jr.'s hand that he thought was a gun. But then, later, investigators came back and said that Rosfeld subsequently told them that he did not see a gun when Rose ran. So just a quick rewind on that. He automatically questioned himself on why he did it, and then to go back and justify why he did it, he said that he saw a gun. But then when they pressed him about the whole gun situation, he said that he didn't see one. And yet he was found not guilty. And this whole case, this whole situation, the aftermath of him being murdered and the proceedings of this trial ring hollow for me. Something that the mayor said about how he he felt bad for the family and how he, you know, he was praying for the family, and he's grieves with the family. He said, and I quote, "Words cannot heal the pain so many are feeling. Only action can begin the process, a process that will take work and understanding. An understanding that inequality exists and we have a moral obligation to address it." And that's true. But you need to address it. It should have started with y'all firing this clown, for one. You know, but that thin blue line, so I don't want to hear this shit. It's what he's saying is straight up trash to me. But you know, in this trial, and you can read a little bit about this on our Black with No Chaser website. We had a excellent write up about this case, but the defense, they focused on Rosfeld's fears, and they focused on painting this 17-year-old AP student who had never been in trouble, who had never had any run-ins, I believe, you know, with the law, you know, any misdemeanors or felonies or anything like that. They painted him as a criminal. They labeled him, in fact, a criminal. And justified the fact that this bullshit ass cop was judge, jury, and executioner for this 17-year-old kid. Just unfucking believable, y'all. And you know, the other day they were protesting in Pittsburgh, excuse me. They protested, you know, this verdict. It was described as peaceful. It's always peaceful protests, you know, when it comes to us. But people are really getting tired of this shit. They are tired of this shit. Now, amid all this protest, somebody shot up the Pennsylvania office of Officer Rosfeld's attorney. Nobody was hurt, but you know, they shot that office up. Shit's crazy. I mean, I really don't know what to say. I really don't. You know, and then to listen to the words of his father, you know, his father said, "It's very painful to see what happened, to sit there and have to deal with it. I just don't want it to happen to our city no more. It's happening like every other day. We've got to do more in our community so they have more stuff to do." Now, I kind of, you know, have a problem, you know, with that last part of what he said. It's as if he's taking, you know, the onus of the situation off of the police and they wrongdoing and putting it square on the shoulders of the community. Like, if they had more stuff to do, the police wouldn't kill them. Meanwhile, they killing motherfuckers for minding their own business. Period. But, you know, the whole justice system, man, is just so fucking flawed and so thrown off and just so one-sided that it's just unbelievable. Really and truly unbelievable. And until they just go in and just throw the whole system away, we will continue to have the same damn problems over and over again. And it really makes no sense. I mean, none at all. Again, they need to throw the whole system away, start fresh, get new people in there who actually give a damn about the people that they are quote unquote supposed to protect and serve. And it's just so many instances where the system. Well, I mean, the system was never designed for us, but we just constantly see more and more ways of how it constantly failed us over and over. And I'll get into other examples in a second, but before I get off of this Antwon Rose murder and subsequent acquittal, I just want to leave y'all with this little part from his mother. And I just could not imagine the pain and the anger and the angst and the probably hatred that this woman is feeling. This woman has felt since her son was murdered by that policeman. But she said that, I hope that man never sleeps at night. I hope he gets as much sleep as I do, which is none. That's, as a parent, you have to feel what this lady's going through. I know I do. I know, I've seen this story on CNN and I've seen it on Yahoo, and I don't fuck with Fox, so I already know what it is there. But just reading some of the comments of these people makes me just further understand and further realize what we are dealing with, who we are dealing with. It makes me really and truly understand and realize the importance of having our own, policing our own communities, buying and spending in our own communities, educating in our own communities, creating opportunities and employment within our own communities. Because I'm telling you, if you read some of the shit that these evil, uncaring, racist motherfuckers are saying, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But what's done is done, as always. Now her lawyer, his family's lawyer, has pretty much said that they're taking it to the Supreme Court. They're saying they're going to continue to fight this. But quite honestly, I just don't know how they will get the resolution that they want, that they deserve, that they need. I just don't. Because the system is just, again, designed for us to fail, designed to keep us down. And I do my best, and I tell, all the young people that I come in contact with, do not put yourself in their system. Do not purposely put yourself in their systems. Because it's a trap, and it's a game that we won't win, regardless of what it is. But just thinking about how unfair this is to the Rose family, and how they were failed, and it made me think about other incidents in other areas of society where the system once again just chews us up, spits us out, and say the hell with y'all. We had that college cheating scandal that had at least 50 people arrested and indicted. And this included, superstar actresses, and this included big time CEOs. This included, the well-to-do, basically white people, 50 of them, at least 50. And honestly, I don't think anything could come of it as far as more than them being embarrassed about being caught. It'll be, you know, some fines or some shit like that. Something that they can, without a doubt, handle with the greatest of ease. But it sparked thought within me in conversation with myself and other people about, you know, how privilege and money works in the U.S. in our educational system, in all systems, but, you know, we talked about the educational system. But just thinking about this whole situation and the level of privilege that these people already have, yet they felt the need to, you know, cheat even more, game the system even more. Like, how do you cheat in the system that was already designed for you to win? It's just mind blowing. But, you know, thinking about like their situations, how they broke the law to get their kids, you know, a better education, which honestly they didn't need to improve their lives because, you know, privilege. But it made me think about some of the instances where we don't get that fair shake. One of the biggest stories that I thought about was about Tanya McDowell. Now, this lady went to prison because she enrolled her son in the wrong school district. Now, this is back in 2011, 2012, somewhere up in there. Even, you know, but it's all still the same. It's all relative. But she was homeless or kind of homeless or whatever. And this is up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, somewhere up in that area. But this lady enrolled her son in a neighboring school district, Norwalk. And I believe she might have used her dad's address or whatever it was. But anyways, she was arrested and charged with first-degree larceny for enrolling her 5-year-old son in a better school district. Now, they were quick to point out that she had drug convictions or whatever. She got arrested for selling drugs to undercover cop. And like always, you know, they point to that type of shit to try to discredit black people and try to discredit the situation. But that has nothing to do with what she was doing, trying to better her son's education. But this woman went to jail for that, and these people in this scandal we seeing now will probably, you know, get some type of probation, if that, slap on the wrist, be right back at the country club laughing about it. But we've seen it over and over. There's a case in Ohio with a lady, a Miss Kelly Bowler. She was charged for lying about her residency so that she can get her child into a better school, and she was ordered to pay $30,000 in restitution. And when she couldn't pay it and she didn't pay it, she was sent to jail. She had to cop a plea deal, and she was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Like, you know, who the this? But again, this is what we dealing with though. Now, when they asked Miss McDowell about why she did it and would she do it again, she said she would. She said that she had no regrets seeking a better education for her son. The only thing she regretted was her drug case. But seeking a better education for her son, she said she didn't regret it at all, because while she was in prison, her son lived with her mother, and he was in a better school district, and he excelled. She said he exceeded all of her expectations. And that right there is probably the main reason why, because against all odds, against everything that's stacked, against us, we still manage to excel. And motherfuckers just can't handle that shit. Like, you throw salt, you throw obstacles, you throw everything at us except the kitchen sink, and through it all, we still excel. And you still have your systems in place. Systems in place designed for you to win, for us to lose, and you still cheat. That's crazy. That is fucking crazy. But it also goes to show you, again, talking about systems, it shows you how the public education system in the United States is not created equal by any means. And it forces, us to do the things that we do in order to get in a better situation, to get that better education. I mean, it is a report out that found it was a $23 billion racial funding gap for schools. This came out February, I believe. And it showed that overwhelmingly white school districts receive $23 billion more than predominantly non-white school districts in state and local funding. This is a report from 2016. Despite, and here's the kicker, despite serving roughly the same number of children. So, and I do know that a lot of the funding comes from, property taxes. I get that. I get that the white communities, the overwhelmingly white communities, tend to be, wealthier, and schools are able to raise more money depending on the values of the properties and all of that. But you look at that goes right back even further to, housing discrimination, employment discrimination. Like, how can we pay more if we can't get paid more to pay more? But you also have to put some of that on the states as well. Like, if these other districts are getting all this money from property taxes, from the properties in their areas, but the state is still funneling more money to them anyway, so come on. The states have, by and large, failed to keep up with the growing wealth disparities across their communities, within these communities. And that's pretty much, what it is. I think that this gap in funding kind of makes me feel like local schools should be both controlled and locally funded, because these other ways not working. It's not working for these poor black and brown kids in these disadvantaged neighborhoods. These neighborhoods with no jobs, no employment outlooks. So it's just not working. And we all know if people knew better, they do better. But they're not getting, a fair shake. They're not being taught anything. They don't have the facilities, to teach robotics or, these science labs or math labs and laptops and all this type of things that they need that's relative today, they don't have that. And that's bullshit. So that's why I think what we are doing here with Black with No Chase is very important to me. I think what we're doing and attempting to do and attempting to galvanize the people that we're in touch with and talk to on a daily basis, what we're attempting to do is create our own systems. Be that mode of change. Instead of waiting on them, we are trying to rely on us. And I hope everyone that's within earshot of my voice hearing this is attempting to do the same. Attempting to reach out within our own communities, within our own walls, our own boundaries, and increase and multiply and do better for each other, with each other. Because again, the system is stacked against us. It's designed for us to lose. They got the table and there are no seats for us. So fuck it. We need to roll our sleeves up, get together and build our own table and eat. All of us. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather around for this week's episode of Colonizer Nonsense. My first Colonizer Nonsense moment starts me off in the capital of Colonizer Nonsense, the state of Florida. Y'all just ridiculous. Headline: Jury deadlocks on officer who shot unarmed caretaker with autistic man. So, we talked about this case a while back, actually, a couple times, and it finally went to trial, and this officer was acquitted. No surprise there. We've seen it before. So, a North police officer by the name of Jonathan Aleda was charged with shooting a one Mr. Charles Kinsey, who was trying to be a caretaker for an autistic man. Now, this jury, they did acquit him on one count of misdemeanor, but they deadlocked on 3 other charges. So in this incident, there was this autistic kid. He was sitting on the ground with his legs crossed, holding a toy truck or car, whatever it was. Behind him was his caretaker, laying on his back, arms stretched out, legs stretched out, begging not to be shot. And guess the fuck what? Exactly. They shot him. So this officer, Jonathan Aleda, testified that he believed that the silver toy that was in the hand of the autistic man, Mr. Arnaldo Rio Soto, was a gun, and that he was holding Mr. Kinsey hostage. Now, I'm no genius, but if you suspect that the dude is a hostage, why the fuck would you shoot the hostage? I mean, seriously. So, anyway, he shot him in the thigh. The kid was not harmed. Now, there was a cell phone video, the whole altercation that circulated on the internet. And again, it showed Mr. Kinsey lying on the ground with his hands up, trying to explain that he was a behavior therapist before being shot. And other officers testified that they determined that Mr. Rios was not even a threat during the whole altercation. So explain to me why the fuck he was shooting, other than he saw a brown dude and a black dude. God damn. My next Colonizer Nonsense moment takes me to the state of Texas, where this man needs his ass beat and they should throw the whole book at him, every single chapter. Headline: Dallas bartender should face hate crime charge in Deep Ellum beating. So, this Dallas bartender, a guy by the name of Austin Sheffield, is suspected. Well, shouldn't be suspected. I mean, fuck, we all seen the footage. But he was suspected of assaulting a woman during an argument after he told her to move her vehicle. This is what the police said. So, the charges include assault causing bodily injury and interference with an emergency call. So what happened, apparently this woman pulled into the parking lot. She went the wrong way. Normal mistake. He asked her to move her car. It escalated. So she tried to call the police on the phone. He slapped her phone away from her. She pushed him away from her. And he beat this woman like a grown fucking man while holding a gun. This happened about 4:30 in the morning at a bar or whatever. But witnesses said that the dude got out of his truck and the woman moved her vehicle into a parking lot, and he approached her and attempted to take pictures of her license plates. Now, this is what the warrant said. They began to argue. The argument turned physical, and that's when he went left. Now, he lied, like they always do, and he told the police that he was acting in self-defense. But witnesses, as well as the footage shows, he started the altercation. Now, here's where the racial shit comes into play. It's bad enough that you are beating on a woman and you a grown fucking man, but witnesses have said that he was berating this woman and using racial slurs while he was doing it. And of course, they gonna deny it, and they gonna make it out to not be what it really is. But whatever it is, this guy deserves to go to jail, and go to jail for a long fucking time. But the sad part about it is, his bond was only $2,000. That's it. That just goes to show, what type of reform we actually need. Just like I was talking about the justice system earlier, throw that whole son of a bitch away, because it ain't for everybody. This week in sports starts me off in the NBA. And for the first time since 2005, LeBron James is not in the playoffs. He has been a dominant force his whole career, but guess what, Bron and Laker fans? Now, I ain't the one to celebrate in other people's misfortunes, but I really must say I am a fan of LeBron, but it could not have happened to a better fan base. Y'all got way beside y'allself, knowing damn well y'all were not good at all. At all. Like I said before, y'all have lost the most games out of any franchise over the past 6 seasons. The past 6 seasons. Y'all got LeBron. Then all of a sudden, some of y'all just had this air of invincibility about yourselves. Like you just could not be touched. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
I've fallen. And I can't get up.
Now, to LeBron's credit, over the finals over the last 10 years, this man has been unstoppable when it comes to stats. First in points, first in rebounds, first in assists, first in steals, first in blocks, first in three-pointers made, and first in the most damn losses. But let me just say this, and let me say this very clear. Y'all would have made the playoffs had LeBron not got hurt. Now, when he went out, y'all was in 4th place, riding high, scoring big, getting wins, doing it all. Then he went down, and the team went to trash. Now, LeBron came back, and he said he was about to activate playoff mode. Well, he couldn't overcome the fact that them niggas activated off-season mode the day he got hurt. And in a bit of irony, they were eliminated by the team led by the dude that Magic got rid of so he can go and draft Lonzo Ball. Speaking of which, Lonzo has found himself in the news for a couple of reasons. The first, he has a money spat going on with the one Alan Foster, who was one of the BBB company's co-founders and a longtime family friend, after he was unable to account for $1.5 million that went missing on his watch. Well, according to ESPN, they gave Foster the boot because he tried to use his access to Lonzo's business and personal finances to enrich himself. God damn. Now, I know damn well that $1.5 million didn't come from the sale of them ugly ass shoes, cause I know nobody in their right mind bought them ugly bitches. Speaking of which, the Lakers have contacted Lonzo and LeVar with concerns that those bum-ass shoes are the major source of problems for Lonzo's ankle issues. Now, I would not be surprised. Have you seen them shoes? I mean, come on, man. They look like they are held together by tape, glue, a little bit of gum, and some strong prayer from my grandma, because they are pieces of shit. Over in the NFL, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made NFL history on Wednesday when they added 2 female assistant coaches to their staff. The team announced that Meryl Javadafar will serve as the team's assistant strength and conditioning coach, and Lori Locust will be an assistant defensive line coach. Congratulations to both of those ladies. Soon after that story broke, Pittsburgh's still a star quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, immediately demanded to be traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he will attempt to dethrone King of the Crab Legs and current starter Jameis Winston. Now, in response to that news, many people in NFL circles collectively had this to say.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
Allegedly.
I was just bullshitting, and you know this, man.
Elsewhere in the NFL, New England Patriot star tight end Rob Gronkowski has finally decided to call it quits. He has officially announced his retirement from the NFL. I guess all those years of cheating and gaming the system has finally wore down on his conscience, and he decided to become a normal, empathetic human being and say to hell with Tom Brady. Good for you, Rob. Good for you. This week's episode was brought to you by the NCAA March Madness tournament that's going on right now, where the NCAA is raking in millions and millions of dollars, and those players can barely buy a damn pizza. I will see you guys next week. We reached the end of another episode of the Shade and Shit Talking podcast, brought to you by Black Window Chaser. And as always, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who have liked, followed, shared, downloaded, sent emails, voicemails, all of that. I really and truly appreciate it. I just can't thank you enough. Now, I just want to say real quick, send a big shout out to my boy Jarius from the Unapologetic Geek, and welcome him to the Black with No Chaser family. He's in the fold now, so that's just another layer of supreme, intelligent blackness that'll be coming to you on all of our platforms. So make sure you check him out on Facebook right now, and pretty much on every one of our platforms coming real soon. So shout out to Jarius, the Unapologetic Geek. I also want to send a shout out to my cousin, my family, Miss Vicky Lane. She had a smashing, successful soft opening of her restaurant back home in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Make sure y'all go check it out. It's that love. Best seafood in town, guaranteed. She also has, steaks, chicken, a full vegan menu. She really doing it up. So y'all make sure y'all go check her out. tell her I sent you. Now, you ain't gonna get nothing free, but just let her know that I'm showing love, because that's what it's all about. So, with that being said, I just want to leave y'all with this little piece. I will be patient with my people. I will be understanding with my people. I will talk it out with my people. I will not fight with my people. I will build with my people. I will defend my people. I will love my people. So, with that being said, again, I thank you. I salute you all. I love you all. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.